This is a combination of images from my first book, which was called Beyond Visions of the Interplanetary Probes, which came out in 2003, and then my new book, which came out, almost 10 years later in October 2012, called Planetfall. Planetfall essentially picks up where Beyond left off. So it's 21st century planetary images. In my lifetime, the solar system has gone from being a bunch of little points of light and images of the planets taken through large land-based observatories to tangible places, because we've sent spacecraft there. I always thought that the photographic output of these missions was significant and potentially a major chapter in the history of photography. And yet, during the 70s and early 80s, in fact the 80s, throughout the 80s, you had to be a specialist really to get access to the material. Then with the arrival of the internet in the 90s, it became much more democratic and non-specialists could access the raw data, image data from the missions. If I'm lucky, I'll find images of these vistas that are taken in red, green, and blue filters, and then there's the possibility to composite them and get a color shot. But that's not enough necessarily. I mean, sometimes it is. Sometimes a black and white shot is enough. Sometimes a few of them are enough. In general, what I then end up doing is I also mosaic images together to get these wider views, because typically a spacecraft is ordered to take photos in rows exactly for that reason, so that a wider vista can be produced. And so some of the work that I do is simply looking for incredible and previously unknown or less publicized sequences of images. And then I work with it in Photoshop typically, but I use other software too, to make a seamless typically color photo, which is as close as I can get it to what we believe we would see if we could go ourselves. I'm hoping that this show might kind of add its voice, let's say, to those of us who are arguing loudly for continued funding for this amazing, it sounds like a cliche, but this adventure of exploring our solar system. It's a mind-blowing thing. I hope people come and look at the show, and of course I hope that it expands radically their awareness of what's out there. That's the main objective, but the secondary objective is let's keep this going.